Everyone.
Good afternoon.
We are going to continue our studies today of the book Alert by Joanna de Angelis, received by the medium Divaldo Franco. We are in lesson 18, and I'm going to share with you. And please do remember that we are recording our meetings. So in case you prefer not to show your face or name, it's easily to remove your image and your name from the screen, okay? Just be ready here. Do you see the screen already? All good?
Yes.
Great. Well, we have a great lesson today, a lesson that will talk about solidarity. So let's start reading it. No matter how tired you may be, do not exempt yourself from being solidary towards someone. Perhaps the other person's problem, the individual who seeks you, is smaller than yours. For that person, though, because the problem seems very grave, so it becomes. Your experiences of faith gives you real dimension of innumerable manifestations, and that is why you can help with less exertion and emotional exhaustion. Whoever traverses a stretch of a road is capable of providing news of that road. Experience is the route that each one has to conquer, even if by great effort. Solidarity, for that reason, is borrowed bread that the lender will always need. No one can go without solidarity, no matter how much we can intend to isolate ourselves from interacting with our neighbors. In the life of all beings, a moment will surge in which solidarity will make itself imperious as a saving grace. Okay, so we have a very beautiful lesson here about solidarity. And Joanna de Angelis, as always, she starts explaining the purpose of this lesson that she brings to us. So first of all, she says that regardless of how difficult it can be for us, for whatever reason, um, we should never miss an opportunity of being of assistance to others. Because this is what she's talking about in terms of solidarity. Us being there for someone that may be in need. Then she starts explaining that sometimes one of the reasons that may lead us to lose heart, not feeling like helping that much, is because of judgment. We tend to judge uh, others, the life of others, in relation to our own lives or to lives that are more, are closer to us. So sometimes someone can come to us expressing worries and suffering because of a problem. And when the person reports to us what is the problem she's or he is talking about, we think to ourselves, oh, but this is not a problem, right? Is this what he or she is saying that is a problem? And so here comes the first lesson that she's teaching us. We should never do that. Because understanding that we are all in different stretches of the road, we have more experience, we may have more understanding, and that person, according to what this person knows, is not that well prepared to endure the kind of situation the person is living. And that's why she tells us that with experience, the more we know, the more we understanding, the more we obviously are going to have the tools, the necessary tools to deal with the day-to-day lives with the situations we face. And of course, if we are ahead of others, we already know the way people will have to come through following us. So it's easier for us to give advice, to help, to assist. Uh, and one thing that she talked about here in terms of, solidarity being like, the board bread, uh, meaning that we all need that. We all need this kind of assistance. Maybe we are able of going through things that our brothers and sisters are saying that is too hard for them, but there will be other things along the way that others will be more experienced and can help us in the same manner. So we should never, according to what Joanna de Angelis is expressing here today, we should never miss the opportunity of helping, of guiding, and assisting others. So, if you have any comments or questions.
Sada, I have something. A while back, I have a friend that lives in this building,
Okay.
and we talk now and then. We see ourselves in the supermarket or uh, in places where we usually shop and go. And she had the confidence one day to explain to me the problem that she was having, and it was with her husband. That the husband was giving her a hard time. He was drinking, and I felt a little funny because I really didn't know her that well, but she had the advantage of saying whatever she wanted to say. So I heard, and then after a while, I just told her, maybe if you can, you can seek help, and maybe he can get the help also. So, oh, she turned around and said something really, really hurting for me, to me. She said, "Oh, he's not that sick. He does." And I said, "Okay, that was the answer for me." I said, "It's time for me to uh, leave it alone, and I'll do a prayer for her and hope she will find her way." And so what do you do with something like this? They didn't ask directly, but she kept talking about it and talking and talking, talking, and I guess she didn't know what to do. So what else could I tell her? So I don't know. What do you do in a situation like that? You give what you can, you know, giving us some kind of an enlightenment to see if it can help. But apparently she didn't like it. So
Yeah, that's a very good example. And I think we can all learn from it so much, because I think that most of the time, when people come to us to, you know, open up,
yes,
they don't want to hear what we have to say.
well,
They just want someone to vent.
right. So that's why you go.
Uh, so, I mean, I think this is the perfect example, and I'm going to remember it. I hope I do next time I'm in a similar situation. Because, many times they just want someone to listen to them. Perhaps the only thing we can say is, please remember, whenever you need, I'm here for you. Because, like you said, she didn't want your advice. She didn't want to, any kind of solution, and much less the solution you propose it.
Right.
So if we could be content with the idea that just by having patience and listening to a person is already a lot, then, the person would leave and say, oh, what a blessed this person, she was there and she helped me. And then you can say, what did I do? I didn't do anything, right, to help. Yes, you did. You just had the patience to listen to the person. And I think most of the times this is what all those situations are all about. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, but many years ago, I went through my ups and downs, and I went for counseling, and that's what I really wanted to tell her, that sometimes you have to go and sit and talk to somebody, a professional, and that's what I thought. So it didn't go that way. So it's like Joanna de Angelis. No, you don't know what the person is going through, so you have to be
Yeah,
careful.
Yeah.
exactly.
What would be helpful is anybody who could recommend to us how to determine whether the person wants a response from us.
Yeah,
Because that often happens.
yeah.
Yeah, but you see, I think, from experience, most of the times they don't want any response.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when they want a particular response that is the one that they already have in their heads.
Exactly.
If you say something different, that it was not what they wanted to
Mhm.
hear,
Mhm.
then is when they will even become cross with us, right?
Yes.
So I think maybe, the safest way is just not to say anything, or, just something like I said,
Yeah.
I'm always, that I'm always here for you. And if they insist, but what's your opinion? You can always say, for me it is hard because I don't know everything that you go. How can I know everything that you're going through to be able to give an opinion? You see, but this is how we are as human beings. We, even when people do not ask our opinion, we are giving our opinion, right?
Right.
We want to go there and to interfere even when we are not invited to interfere. So imagine if they come and open up, the possibility for us to be meddling in their business.
Yes, exactly.
So um,
It
I
turned out
think,
fine
yeah.
because she is still a friend of mine. I see her almost every day, and we chat. Here, hi, hi. Um, so we kept our friendship, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because sometimes, people also open up and then they regret
Right.
having done that because it was, according to them, a moment of weakness. And then now they say, oh, now she knows my secret. And they don't feel at easy with you anymore, right? Because they try to avoid you because maybe you're going to disclose that, or maybe you are going to be talking to something that is very painful. You see, there are so many things. Orlando here put it, what happens when it's part of life to carry our cross without any help as part of our trials? uh,
Mm.
in a way, Orlando, we all have to carry our cross individually, okay? They are ours. No one can do anything in relation to that. I mean, it's our experiences, our process of learning. So no one can do that for us. But as to not have any kind of help, that depends on us.
Mm.
depends on our personality, depends on how much we trust people, we allow people to be in our way. It depends on how we also may be or not connected to spiritual values to ask for spiritual assistance. So the help depends on us. And even when help comes, it doesn't mean that we are going to accept, right? So sometimes we see, people trying to help us, but we refuse because, like we were saying just now,
Yep.
their idea of help is not my idea of help, so I don't want your help,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
But overall, we don't need to go through the situations alone. And when I say alone, I mean with a spirit or a person helping, without a spirit or a person helping us, because we can help them, we can have them helping us without a doubt. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's read a little bit more.
Yep.
Um, to do or not to do good is a natural effect of the faith that is maintained, defining its quality, whose action is transformed into habit, which is incorporated in a person's nature to each one's personality. Whoever does not get used to donating will never have the opportunity to help, finding unjustifiable reasons to refuse. The person that acclimates to solidarity work will always have time and resources to do it. The unoccupied and indifferent are always full of empty hours to attempt to fill some space. Therefore, they have time for nothing. They live overwrought by inutility and pessimism. So what Joanna de Angelis is trying to explain to us here is that to do good, to be solidary, it's like a habit. It is something, it is not yet in our second nature. It is something that we have to nourish. Because as still inferior spirits, those are, acquisitions that we are going to get along the way. So at first, we have to decide what we want to do. We have to make it become a habit that is going to be part of our nature and our personality. Uh, so far, until we reach that point in time where we are already, it's already part of us to be solidary. Uh, until we get there, of course, even when we have opportunities to help or to serve, we will, in a way, always refuse it or find excuses not to do it. Oh, I would love to help, but it's exactly when I had planned my, I don't know what. Even if it's for good reasons, okay. Oh, I have a doctor's appointment, or it's because of my work, or it's because of vacation, or it's because for whatever reason. Oh my God, I worked so much yesterday. Today, I really need to relax. I cannot do anything else. So until it becomes part of us, the more we become accustomed to understand the need for us to be present and to assist, the more we will find the time, we will find the resources, and we will be happy in doing that. Because it's that, that sense of duty that when it's fulfilled, that sense of inner happiness, because you felt that you did something that made a difference. On the other hand, it's easier for us sometimes to find people that are very busy to come to our rescue than to find people that are not that busy, because there is even a say, I think, right, about that, right? If you want to work to be done, give it to the one that is busier, because the other one will never find time to do it. There is always, what is still is part of that person is, the lack of time, the lack of will, and questioning and pessimism. What's the point? It's always like, what's the point of, giving food to this beggar if hunger prevails in the world? Well, if you were that beggar and someone could have fed you, you would be very happy, right? You are not thinking about the hunger in the world. So this is what we have to think about it, about our participation and how we can assist, and comments and questions. I think that in our current stage of evolvement, we are still not there. Okay, we we are still trying to become what Joanna de Angelis is telling us. Sometimes because we are very judgmental, we can say, okay, that kind of person or people I will help, but that other people I will not. Okay, it's okay. We are going by stages. It's better than nothing, but we are still, not acting in true fraternity with in the way that by the examples, we remember that was the way Jesus helped. And if we remember, Jesus would help more the ones that were pariahs of society than the ones that were not. And because we know that everyone has problems, regardless of how your societal status, uh, Jesus was actually even giving more attention to the humble, to the sinners, to the lost in life, because he knew that they would be um, more willing to be open and to accept him, right? Any questions, comments? Yes,
Yeah,
Sonia?
then I believe there are many different levels of behavior or habit of solidarity. Many times people is not too involved, but don't make donations with money, many others hand on. And for me, when I watch the young people behavior, like the solidarity, it's part of their life naturally. They help people. They they preserve the nature. Then they fight for the clear water, or many other ways. These young people behavior, and not necessary for them it's like, oh, I'm doing something, but it's natural for for them. Then I watch my daughter and my son behavior, like, and they teach me every day with these attitudes. And it's very interesting because for them, they are not doing something, oh, I'm very good, I'm doing different for the humanity, but it's I must do this. For them, it's their mind. This interesting because it's print inside their selves.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you're saying, Sonia, because it's exactly, what we see. It's exactly how we see progress happening, uh, because we uh, we were taught and we watched growing up different values. Now, in a transition, we have to implement new values that we know that are the correct one, but it still was not like, our children or teenagers now, they see, because they not only from the house, from the home, they are start seeing new values coming up, but from the world. And today it couldn't be different. Little things like, you see, a very simple examples. I don't know, a few decades ago, people could smoke in the maternity ward. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
we're not talking some, something major here.
Yeah.
You would go to a doctor, even to an oncologist, and he would be smoking in his office while talking to you.
Yes.
To this new generation, I mean, even to us, right? But to this new generation, because we have, in a way, changed a few things already and paving the way, they cannot even think about something different than that. What are you talking about, right? How, what do you mean? I have to go and wash my clothes at the East or Hudson River, right? Don't you have a washing machine at home? I remember once my son asking his grandfather, because his grandfather was saying that at his time he didn't have a TV.
Ah,
It
yes.
was mostly radio, only when he grew up, not as a child. And then my son looked at him and said, "And how could you play video games?" You see, it's, or I mean, little things, simple things, they are so incorporated now, and so, because they are right in our day-to-day lives. So that's exactly what you're saying in terms of values as well. it would it would shock values if we would see someone being mistreated for whatever reason. Okay, it's still happening in the world. We are not saying it's not, but each time less. And like you're saying, Sonia, the majority of this new generation, they don't even question whether this is, you know, there is something to be questioned. It's obviously that this is the way it has to be, right? It's obviously that we have to be more careful with the planet, with our food intake and all of this and that. So yeah, we have a lot to learn from them, and but this is the beauty of reincarnation, right? We will come back in a new position as well,
Right.
where they will be the ones learning from our new heads, right?
Right.
Let's see, Orlando put something here. Let's see what it was. We have to consider that we are spirit, and as a spirit, we don't have emotions. The physical body makes it a problem. No, actually, the spirits are the ones that have emotions. The incarnate ones, with the physical body, they have physical needs. Physical needs are different than emotions. So the emotions are, of course, part of the spirit, and whether we have a coarse body, a physical body or not, we will feel emotions. That's why when the spirits come talk to us, they demonstrate their emotions, be that of sadness, be that of happiness, be that of uh, a sublime emotion, or other kind of emotions that they can express, of regrets, of guilty. This is actually part of the spirit, because as we have in the spirits book, question 76, the spirits are the intelligent beings of the creation. It's not matter, it's not the physical body, but the physical body have physical needs. Uh, Whether myself as a spirit wants or not to eat, my machine, my physical body will require nourishment to live. That's the difference. Okay, let's go to this last part here. Hone your perception, and you will ascertain that excessive lamentation do not always derive from illness or a problem a person has, but from the need for attention, requiring support and friendship. There is a lot of need in the world, however, the most grave and urgent being the one of affection, of human interest. This question assumes such great proportions that often, when someone worries about another and gives them assistance, the feelings of one or another are perturbed, giving origin of fraternal deviations, falling into moral prostrations, which further aggravate the circumstances and difficulties. Maintain the habit of solidarity without demand or any solicitation. Assist, therefore, without servile entailment, in order to remain free in love and solidary action, growing towards God by the side of your neighbor in needy, which we are almost all of divine solidarity. So here, Joanna de Angelis is actually mentioning what we talked about a little bit about before, Soraya, because of your example. That many times, when people come with, their lamentation, problems that they have, illnesses, etc., they are more in need of attention, of support, of friendship, than really they are waiting for any kind of advice. Because in a way, according to what Joanna de Angelis is talking about here, she's saying we all are all in need of affection. And sometimes, unfortunately, because we demonstrate affection to others in this solidary way, we can be misinterpreted. People may deviate it from, noble feelings to passionate feelings of the flesh. And this is what it gives, uh, like she says here, the emotions, the display of fraternal deviations, aggravating situations, and then, because sometimes, because a person is being nice and being kind and being gentle, it can be misinterpreted by, of affection or love of the flesh, when we are talking about affection and love of one soul, one spirit to another. But in any case, like she says here, uh, as much as we can, we should acquire the habit of solidarity, always trying to help and assist, understanding that there are so much, need of affection in the world, in the same way that we ourselves also need affection, and especially receiving all this affection and solidarity from the divine source of life. Okay, so questions, comments?
I cannot read
Yeah,
saw people uh, when between woman and man, you have in the same group with your sister, and I can see they are working together, and they are target from the gossips. Then
yeah,
it's when read things, I remember some facts like that. It's not easy to work together and in group, and always there is something to try to deviate us from the good way.
yeah.
Then
Yeah, and I mean, again, we are living a movement about that as well. That just because a woman or a man is showing affection to another, it doesn't mean that they have any kind of sexual interest, or things that have nothing to do with just being there or being present. And this is really sad, because I think until today, a lot of people refrain to be more warm, to be more affection, for the for because they fear to be misunderstood, for the fear of being misinterpreted. Um, so now that we are, things are clearer, and we can be more in the open of saying, listen, I'm doing that because I care about you, but the way I care about you have nothing to do with any other thing that can be related to the flesh, to the passions of the flesh.
it's just fraternal meeting. It's
Exactly, exactly. And this can be a situation, right? But it is not because of that that we are going to refrain from practice solidarity. If there are I mean, if for whatever reason we cannot expose ourselves too much because it can call attention to this or that, there are always ways that we can do that without exposing ourselves that much. I imagine, this, like, the supermodels, for instance, right? Sometimes, because of their beauty, it can be harder for them to expose themselves, being more present. But then they help with organizations, with money, with any other way that they can do it, not to expose themselves so much. You see, or movie stars, or everything that has more uh, call more the attention of people. But there is always a way of you doing that, of you promoting goodness. And listen, sometimes here, when we are talking about solidarity, we are not talking about going to the world and becomes missionaries of solidarity. Sometimes we are talking about our, own four walls, right?
Right.
We are not having understanding or patience with the spirits that live with us, that we will see that they are more in need than we are.
Yeah. And these sentences, with solidarity, without demand or any solicitation. This is so deep, because if you look side by side around you, you can see anyone need help or a word, or as Zoraida mentioned, just listen someone.
Yeah.
This is solidarity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Okay, so if you don't have any other comments, we will go to our read. And next week we have upright position. Let's see what Joanna de Angelis is saving for us there.
Is this. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, Zoraida, you can do the final prayer. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay.